Okay, so today we'll see some 5 biology questions and just a quick revision of what we know already, but some 5 previous year question 2019 NEET questions. First question: the Earth Summit held in Rio de Janeiro in 1992 was called for. This is a direct question from your NCRT. See this one. So we'll read it now. This third line: the Earth Summit held in Rio de Janeiro in 1992 called upon all nations to take appropriate measures for conservation of biodiversity and sustainable utilization of its benefits. So here the answer will be second one, for conservation of biodiversity and sustainable utilization of its benefits. We'll see what is written next. In a follow-up, a World Summit on Sustainable Development was held in 2002 in Johannesburg, South Africa. So this one can be your next question. In your next paper you can get this question. And this was held in Johannesburg, South Africa. 190 countries pledged their commitment to achieve by 2010 a significant reduction in the current rate of biodiversity loss at a global, regional and a local level. So now take the next question. Colostrum, the yellowish fluid secreted by mother during the initial days of lactation, is very essential to impart immunity to the newborn infants because it contains, see, this we'll be knowing, this IgA. When we see IgA, this is the immunoglobulins which is present in all the secretions. Okay, so mainly all the secretions contains IgA. Also, a lactating female in its lactation, this IgA is present, which helps the newborn to have some immunity in the first 6 months, because in the first 6 months the newborn cannot produce their own immunoglobulins, own antibodies they can't produce, and this IgA is present in the colostrum, which is the first milk, what we call. So this colostrum contains IgA in its secretion. In the milk there is IgA, which helps the newborn in having some immunity. Now the next one: grass leaves curl inwards during very dry weather. Now this question I will read out one line. This bulliform cells. What are these bulliform cells? These are cells that is spread on the epidermis of the leaves. This cell, the bulliform cell, is necessary for the water storage. So this bulliform cells helps in water storage. When there is stress, in stress condition, the plants do not want to lose water, and to avoid water loss, this bulliform cells curls, what we call it, curls. So seeing the question, the grass leaves curl inward during very dry. See, the very dry weather is a necessity for the bulliform cells to curl, and this curling of the bulliform cells is due to flaccidity of the bulliform cells. It becomes flaccid, that is, it loses water, it becomes flaccid, and then there is curling. It prevents further water loss. Fourth question: the shorter and the longer arms of a submetacentric chromosome are referred to as. See, when we see a chromosome, we can see 2 arms. This center one is the centromere. There is one arm above it, one arm below it. So this above arm is the shorter arm and is known as the P arm, whereas Q arm is the longer arm. This centromere is not in a center in submetacentric. Sub means below, meta means middle. So it is below middle, or it is away from middle. Here the shorter and the longer arms are called as, shorter is the P arm and the longer is the Q arm here. So the answer is 2. See, we'll see some more chromosomes: telocentric, acrocentric, submetacentric, metacentric. Meta means middle, so the centromere is in the middle, whereas submeta is away from middle, so it is not in the middle. Therefore, it divides the chromosome into having a short arm, the P arm, and a long arm, the Q arm. we have acrocentric and a telocentric. See, telocentric, when we see, it is at the tail. Telo means tail. So telocentric means at the tail of the chromosome there is the centromere. Whereas acro is just below the tail. It is not at the tail, but a small short arm is also present. For remembering, you can remember like in alphabetical order, first comes P and then Q comes. So this P, it comes first, so it is now a baby, so it is small, whereas Q, which is after P, so it is big. Respiratory quotient when we see of tripalmitin is a fatty acid. This you should know, which is a fatty acid, which is a carbohydrate, which is a protein, and then you can click on the option. See, when we see the options, it is 0.9, 0.7, 0.09, 0.07, and we all know that respiratory quotient of a fatty acid is 0.7. This you have to remember, because we cannot remember for each and every fatty acid or each and every carbohydrate. As a general rule, we just remember it. As a general rule, we can remember this, that when the respiratory substrate is a glucose, that is a carbohydrate. When it is a carbohydrate, the respiratory quotient is 1. When it is fatty acid, it is 0.7. Protein is 0.9. If we see in the previous slide, this one, here I have shown some very big calculation here to see the tripalmitin is reacting with oxygen, and then CO2H2 is produced. Finally, the respiratory quotient is 0.7. What is respiratory quotient? It is the amount of carbon dioxide released divided by amount of oxygen consumed. So now the next one. Here, to remember this, you can remember. See, glucose we always remember, it is 1. It is always 1 for glucose or carbohydrate, what we say. For remembering about fatty acid and protein, we get confused. It is 0.7 or 0.9. Remembering this, when we write protein, in the end you see N, right? We see N, so we can remember 9. Protein 9, it is 0.9. 0.9 for protein, whereas the left out, that is fatty acid, 0.7. Thank you so much.